Okay, if I can have everyone's attention, we will continue our afternoon media availability with Marcus Ambrose, driver of the number 9 Stanley Ford, our current defending race winner here at Watkins Glen International. Marcus, welcome back to Watkins Glen, and talk a little bit about coming back here after your win here last year.
Well, I remember the rain from last year, and we had to wait till Monday to get it in, but it is good to come back. It's been a good track for me, and yeah, ready to get started.
Hopefully the rain is a good sign, maybe a little bit looking like last year. Maybe it'll be good luck this year.
I think the weather's blowing through, which is good for Sunday. But right now it's about okay. What do we want more? Do we want to start 18th or 19th in the lineup and get no practice, which is probably good for us to stop people catching us because we know we've got a good setup here, or do we want to practice and go for the pole? So we'll find out how this afternoon goes and see what NASCAR do with the scheduling.
All right, we'll take questions for Marcus. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Joe and then go back to Marty.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Hey, how you doing, Marcus? Just talk a little bit about how important that win was, not just we you personally, but really as a sort of a springboard for RPM in general.
Yeah, look, RPM have been doing fantastic, and we're not a super team, but we're a really strong two-car team, probably one of the strongest out there right now, and we're proud of winning the race here last year, and we're pleased with how we've gone this year. We've had, as a company, a front row lockout there at Charlotte, and we've had 3 pole positions in the company, and we're looking for more wins and more top 5s and all that good stuff. So it feels good to be part of this team, but we keep sort of looking towards the future, and the future is more performance like we've got going, and more results. We need. We feel like we've had a good year, not a great year, and we need to finish off really strong in 2012.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Marty.
Hey, Marty. I can hear you, but not through the microphone.
We can't hear you.
It doesn't matter.
No.
I'm plenty loud.
Try it again, Marty. He's got it.
Bueller? Okay.
There you
go. I know every time you come road racing, you very much look forward to it because of your prowess at it. I'm wondering how much more you're looking forward to Sunday, given the disappointment that happened in June in Sonoma.
Well, it wasn't disappointment. We just missed it for the race. We got the pole out there. It was my first pole position, so we had a lot of car speed. We just did not, find a happy medium for tyre life. And we could run really fast for 3 or 4 laps, but we weren't very good at 30 or 40 laps. And we paid a price, and we learned our lesson there. But, this track is completely different. And I think the package we had last year worked well. We've refined it and thought a lot about it, and hopefully we'll be even faster this year.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob and then come over to Lee.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. The decision of Dodge to pull out for next year, how does that impact your organization, if at all?
Yeah, RPM is still looking at all their options as far as manufacturers go. I think for the sport, Dodge pulling out was not a great thing. It's been really healthy to have 4 manufacturers in the sport. So, as a fan of NASCAR, I'm disappointed that Dodge have taken that choice. I understand it though, and for us, we're building to the future at RPM, and I look forward to playing my part and helping them make good choices here. And I think it's exciting times for RPM. They've got a lot of options.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Given your long-time relationship with Ford, though, how do you feel about that? I mean, would you have gone happily to Dodge because that was the decision of RPM, given what your background has been with Ford Motor Company?
I mean, as we sit here, absolutely nothing has changed. So, until something's presented to me, you got to look at it on its merits. And the whole Dodge thing, it didn't come through, right? So there was nothing to look at.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Claire right here in the middle.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I'm doing an update for our sports stations about the road racers racing at the Glen. How could you possibly define to other athletes who are in the NFL or NBA or, play baseball, what it's like to race in a car at Watkins Glen as an athlete?
Well, there's a lot more going on as far as what you need to do behind the wheel. You've got a lot more braking and technique under brakes as well, trying to keep the car from locking the tyres up, and downshifting, looking after the gearbox, looking after the car. So, you're trying to ride a bull and keep it somewhat under control. The car is really powerful, and it wants to buck and kick and throw you off every corner, and you've just got to manage that. You've got to really control the brutality of a Sprint Cup car. I don't think anyone who has raced a car or has watched car racing can fully appreciate how difficult these Sprint Cup cars are to get around a road course. I mean, they're just really heavy, they're really powerful, they've got not enough brakes and not enough downforce. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on with a really small tyre. I mean, the tyre that we have on the car is very small compared to the weight we carry. And that's what makes our sport so great, whether it's road racing or Bristol or Michigan. It's man versus machine. It's just really a tough battle out there, and it's really satisfying when it goes well, not so satisfying when it goes wrong, and it can go wrong in a hurry.
Do you think other athletes would be surprised at what goes on inside that car?
Yeah, I'm sure they would be, and like any sport at the top level, there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. And as far as race car drivers go, we don't complain much, outside of our own team, because we can constantly complain about the car handling to our team, right? So the balance for us is that we know what we're in for. We know it's going to be really hot, really loud, and brutal out there, and we're racing against drivers that want to take your paycheck away from you, and it's just the way it is, and we just get on with our business.
All right, questions for Marcus? All right, we'll take one here from Mike.
When it comes to road racing in the rain, we remember your race at Montreal with Carl Leder. It was one of the great races I've ever seen. What's it like to race one of these cars in the rain? There was a lot of standing water there, obviously, and it's just wet out here. What's that like?
Yeah, that particular battle there with Carl was fantastic, and I actually remember we could pull a gap when it was raining. It was when it was dry, when we were out there on our wet weather tyres, that I had a tough time. And when the track's wet or the track's dry, you can manage that pretty easily. As far as you know what grip you've got, how deep to brake, and how hard to hit the accelerator pedal and all those things, because you can learn it. But when the track's drying or going from dry to wet, it's that in between that's really difficult to get the job done, because every corner, every lap, it's different. And so as the track's drying, you're taking more chances, and every time you say, okay, last time I could brake at the 400-yard marker. This time I know the track's drier, I need to brake at 350. But until you get there, you don't really know what condition that track's in. Someone could have slid across and brought some fresh water across the track at the apex or whatever. So for me, it's the drying or the wetting of the track that's the most challenging part when you have to race through it. But, I grew up in the rain. From Tasmania, we pretty much have water all around us, and it was always wet. So, I'm used to that. I've grown up racing in the rain, whether it's on a go-kart or a heavy stock car. I can adapt, and that's really one of the best aspects of wet weather driving, is you have to adapt. You can't do the same thing every lap.